Forest. This is a pretty intimidating area. Fortunately, there's like a few different waves and we can kind of go over each wave, so it's not too bad. But yes, there are a ton of stalkers here. And we don't have our backpack, we don't have our guns, anything like that. The first wave, we're going to get swarmed by a bunch of stalkers. And the thing that we will want to try to do in this area, this area is kind of glitchy, it can break. You don't want to drift too far from where you start, which is pretty easy. You don't want to be, there's a car, yeah, it's burning right here as you see it. We don't want to get too far from the car and it's super dark, so we don't want to, we basically want to stick close. The further that we drift from the car, the more stalkers show up, basically. And also, Lev can die, so we just want to stay next to Lev, next to the car. Now, there will only ever be, in this first area, 2 stalkers at a time. Now, the second that we kill one stalker, it'll take some time for the other stalker to get in. But basically, if you don't see 2 stalkers in your field of view, then you might want to start looking around to make sure that you can see both stalkers at the same time. Otherwise, one's going to start hitting you from the back. You're going to lose a bunch of health, and you could potentially die here. Now, the game mechanics for Melee are actually pretty nice. And the way that you can make this section go a little bit easier is, even though you're obviously supposed to punch as much as possible, what you should really focus on is when you should dodge. Because, again, well, these game mechanics, they let you cancel a punch with a dodge, which means you can punch as much as you want, but just look for the stalkers for when they're about to hit you. And if you're in the middle of a punch animation, you can effectively dodge, right? And this can make juggling 2 stalkers go very smoothly. So again, if you don't see 2 stalkers, try to get them in your field of view. Also stay near the car. It sounds like a lot, but if you do it like a couple times, you'll see it's not too bad, okay? Fortunately, at the end of this first wave, before we run through the forest with Yara and Lev, we'll get all of our health back. So a few slaps here and there is not that big of a deal, but obviously you just want to get through this section, okay? So I'm just going to go and skip this. I'll show you kind of like what how I manage stalkers, and I'm going to play it super safe. I would normally be punching like as much as I could, but I'll kind of show you how you can manage seeing the stalkers, okay? So again, you see like how they really swing back. They give you plenty of time to figure out when you should dodge. Okay, I'll get rid of this first one. And I'm just staying near the car. I'm looking back and forth. Here's the stalker. Where's the other one? There we go. See? They were coming up right behind us. And I'm just looking for whenever the other stalker is punching us. Okay? I'm focusing on dodges. Like, I don't care if I land a hit or not. Okay, I see the other stalker in view. They're focused on Lev. Where's the other one? Okay, they're coming from far over there. So here we go. So we got them both within view. And again, I'm focusing on when they're slapping me. The dodges are the most important thing. The stalker's getting a little bit far from the car. Yeah, and see, I already lost sight of the second one there. But okay, but now we're good because they're both within view. Now, when Abby does this animation, that means you're done with the phase. So this is a section you'll probably want to practice a few times just to get like the dodge timing down. But again, dodge timing, keeping them both within view is the most important thing. And now once you're here, we're going straight into the next section here, but stay as close to Yara as you can. This next section is a little bit different. There's only 3 stalkers that we have to kill. So after we kill this first stalker, okay, you see that brick on this car right here? We're gonna grab it. And now I'm gonna keep these 2 cars like within my field of view because they will either come up the far right, the middle, or the left. Here we go. They came out the right. They kind of came out of nowhere. That's why I keep toggling back and forth. There are more bricks around. So I grabbed one on top of this taxi. There's one on top where that stalker is right now. And just to show you where another brick is at, it's on top of this car. Sometimes you'll end up over here. And there's unfortunately another bottle, okay? And again, I would use this to take them out. I'm just gonna run over here to show you that there's another brick on this side of this car, okay? So check around the cars for bottles and bricks, but once you kill the third one here,
you okay?
I definitely use those bottles and bricks because they're huge. These stalkers definitely feel a lot different. They really sneak up on you and they might grab you. So get those bottles and bricks, but all you need to do is kill 3. Now, our health doesn't regenerate after that section, but fortunately, we'll be picking up a little bit of snacks. We still don't have our backpack yet. We're not going to have our backpack until after the next section. So that is an area where ideally you don't want to get slapped around too much because there's no health regen. Okay, we just finished up the Stalker Forest. We're in this little safe spot for a second. And we have to go through one more encounter, which will give us our backpack back. There will be snacks around here. I don't see them because, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's snacks right here along the way if you got a little bit beat up. Now I'm going to describe this fight a little bit because it is the first like boss brute fight that we encounter. So first off, we have to run and save Lev. Lev is going to get grabbed. Now, some information about this fight. It takes 14 punches to take down this brute, at least on Grounded. Now, this is split up between 3 different phases, and fortunately, the phases are easy to memorize. In the first phase, what she does is when she swings her hammer, sometimes she'll do a grab move, so be aware of that. But when she swings her hammer in phase 1, she only swings it once. In phase 2, she'll swing it twice. And in phase 3, 3 times, but that third swing is a little bit delayed and it will throw a lot of people off. Okay. This is a fight where you want to exercise a lot of restraint. If you punch too much, like you might seem like there's an opening, I'm just going to hit square and punch as much as possible. If you punch too much, the brute will likely grab you and toss you or like put you in a chokehold for a bit, and that will start draining your health. So what you want to do is only get 2 punches at a time. Okay. Now, to know when she switches phases, you basically need to count the punches. Now, fortunately, it's pretty simple. In the first time you get 2 punches on her, she'll then switch into phase 2. Then it's 6 more punches into phase 3, and then 6 more punches again, and she'll be dead. Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of count this out for you.
Go.
And me counting it out loud when I was doing normal Grounded Permadeath was actually very helpful for me. It was easy for me to keep track, so you might want to consider doing that. So again, we got to run it. We have to save Lev. Okay. So we're in phase 1. Be 1 swing of the hammer. 1 swing here. 1 and then 2 punches. 1, 2. Now we're in phase 2. Okay. So 1 swing and then 2 swing. That's the first set. Okay. She did a grab there. We're on our second set. She's still in phase 2. 1 more set of 2 here. 2. Okay. Now we're in the third phase. Now she'll do 3 swings. 1, 2, and 3. 2 punches. 2 punches. And then the last 2 are coming up. 1, 2, and 3 for the swing. And that's it. 14 punches, and she's gone. So counting out loud, going through it a couple times, it should be pretty easy. Quick note is that we're going to go through this area, and before the next encounter, there will be a replacement melee weapon. Which means that it's a good idea to use and burn our melee weapons, save our ammo for later. So it'll be up to you to decide whether or not you want this weapon. I personally, even though this is a really cool new weapon, I prefer to have the pipe. But it's up to you. We're going to burn through it. Maybe try both. Consider which one you want to use, but you will burn. I'd suggest that you burn through this. Okay, this next fight that's coming up is a very small arena with a lot of enemies coming from all over the place. They're dropping down from the ceiling, basically. So, even though I recommended scopes, like on the semi-auto, and also the hunting pistol, those would be nice later on, but right now, if you have some parts to burn, you might want to consider reload speed on your shotgun. Also, things like capacity for things like your pistol, so you don't have to reload as much. If you haven't gotten shivs yet, and you want to have a little bit of safety as Abby, you might want to consider getting shivs. Okay, so you have to buy this in your pill skill tree, and then you have to go in and actually craft it. And you can see what crafting materials it takes. It takes 1 binding and 1 set of scissors. Now you might immediately think like, okay, let's just top it off and we'll be safe. However, before you do that, very important, there's a mechanic in this game where if you upgrade a melee weapon and it's low on durability, like it only has 1 hit left, then upgrading your melee weapon will bring it back to full durability. Now, this upcoming fight, the restaurant, is so hectic that you might want to consider using a little bit of your pipe for really strong melee combat to manage some of the chaos. I'm not going to get shivs, okay? Because I want to save it to basically repair my melee weapon. And one last note on shivs: if you get grabbed by a runner, it might look like it'll show you the prompt like press triangle to quickly get out of the runner grab. Don't burn a shiv on a runner, just unless your health is like super low or something. But save those for the clickers, because if you don't have a shiv, then you're just instantly dead. And finally, we're going to jump down here where Yara and Lev have been patiently waiting while I'm explaining things. And down these stairs, you're going to have 2 sets of runners and 2 groups of 2 run down. Okay. There will be, again, like I said, a replacement melee weapon at the very end with full durability. So use whatever you've got. I'll kind of show you how I handle this.
We're almost to the coast.
But I like to bait Lev into helping me, so I like to spawn them in, run backwards, maybe pull out my brick. I'll get rid of one of them. I'll do whatever I can for the rest. Okay, so Lev helped me out there. So see, I only use like, 2 pipe hits, so I have 2 left. And it's up to you how you want to handle the rest of these, the last 2 runners here. But sometimes I'll use like a stun, and then, again, that's only 1 pipe hit. I don't know how they did get stunned there. But there you go. So that was like 4 pipe hits split amongst 4 runners. If I didn't stun them with something, or if Lev didn't help out, then that would have been 2 hits per runner. But do whatever you can there. Again, use up that melee weapon, because before we drop into the next area up here, we'll go inside here, and there's stuff you want to grab. But if you jump across here, see this? We have a full pipe. Should be very, very handy. Also a brick, so make sure you use your brick in the prior area as well. Okay, for the sake of simplicity for this strat, before this area starts, there are 3 runners that aren't alerted, even though I was like running up top here and I ran over, I grabbed the pipe. In fact, you can see one runner right here. You can jump down here and stealth kill all the runners, but then you have to memorize a path. A really simple way is, if you can afford the bullet, get an easy headshot. I almost missed that one. Get an easy headshot on the first runner. That alerts the other 2. And now I'm going to wait. I'm going to let Lev do all the practice that Lev needs. And my goodness, does Lev need practice on Grounded, because Lev keeps missing a bunch of shots. Keep going, Lev. Come on, Lev. It takes forever. Lev, there's nothing blocking you. Is Yara blocking you? Sometimes I'll walk around here just to help make Lev move here. Sometimes I have to go back and forth, but I'm waiting for Lev to kill one. And once the second one is dead, then what I'll try to get is an aerial takedown. There we go. Okay, so Lev finally got rid of one. And I don't think Lev will take out the last one. So like I said, we can do an aerial takedown. If I like line up with the runner here, okay? Or if I can run and jump on top of them, they're kind of close. I'll run and then melee them like that, okay? Run, jump, and then melee. You do an aerial takedown. That doesn't take away your pipe hits. You want to save your pipe hits for the next upcoming section.
Now what?
Okay, last night I recorded 2 different strats to get through this area. 2 strats that I'm mostly comfortable with, and after thinking about it and editing video, I realized these are probably not very well suited for general use. So I decided to kind of look at what some other community members were doing. Specifically, I watched a video from Polysil, and Poly is a good stream friend. They help contribute to Chaos, at least recently they have. So thank you, Poly, for the idea here. And this does incorporate, like, I think like a mixture of like old strats and maybe some of Poly's own ideas too. But I just want to let you know where this strat is effectively coming from, and I think I tweaked it a little bit at the end anyway. So what we do is when we activate this door, We basically have to go through 2 waves of infected before we can make our escape through this ambulance that Lev is going to open up for us. But we have to wait after damaging 1.5 shamblers, or not 1.5 shamblers. We have to kill 1.5 shamblers because we have to kill one fully and damage the other one halfway before Lev starts opening this up for us. Okay, kind of a weird thing to say, 1.5, but that's the cold hard math, I guess. Now, this area, this fight, I find to be very fun, especially in practice, which also means that it's very frightening for permadeath. This is very chaotic fight where you're going to need to use a lot of materials. We have a lot of different types of infected. Great for warm-up and everything, but it's also a very nerve-wracking area for permadeath. So definitely try to familiarize yourself with the map and everything. There's a lot of loot that you'll want to grab. Okay, I haven't grabbed anything really. But very importantly, there's glass in here. Do not break that glass. Normally, we want to kind of open things up, and when things get a little bit too chaotic, we want to start running around, and that would effectively only slow us down. However, the infected in this area rain down from the top from all sorts of different places, and if we open up that glass, that just means that infected can get to us faster. And what we will be doing is from the start is we'll be kind of making our way down this hall here to the left, killing some infected along the way, and we're going to wait out basically the rest of the encounter in this spot. Now it's a little bit dangerous to kind of stay in one spot, but fortunately, if we don't break this glass, also this glass over here, the infected kind of have to zigzag through everything, and they'll be squeezing through the walls, just like what we can do here. And most of them will be coming through right here and coming for us, and we'll be standing right here. So we're kind of using this as a choke point to kill infected one at a time to make it as manageable as possible. Now we have a ton of infected here, and we'll be using a lot of ammo. Specifically, we'll be using 3 shotgun shots, all 8 of my semi-auto rifle, all 3 shots of our pea shooter here, as well as 2 bombs that I have crafted, a brick, and we'll be picking up another brick. Like I said, there's 2 waves we'll be going through. When we clear out the first wave, we'll make sure to run and grab another brick just to handle another clicker. And the MVP of this strat, I gotta say, is our pipe. Now we just picked one up of full durability, and it'll be very important that we can upgrade it at a certain point. So we're going to use that as much as possible in the beginning. There'll be 2 runners at the very start, and that's basically 4 pipe hits. So we're going to burn 4 pipe hits to take out 2 runners very easily, then upgrade it right away. And then we'll have to kind of juggle our other resources throughout the rest of the fight. Okay. Now a little bit about ammo here, kind of what guns we'll be using for who. Shotgun, dedicated to clickers. Try not to use it on runners unless you have a plethora of ammo. Like I said, I'll be using 3 shots, and I have 5, so that's a nice safety. Using all 8 semi-auto rifle for body shots on runners. Body shots specifically. We don't care about headshots purely because it's hard to get headshots on runners. Like, it's fun to try, but it's a lot easier to do 2 body shots with the semi-auto to take out runners, and we'll only be taking out 4 with the semi-auto. There will be a 5th that we take out with 3 body shots with our pistol, okay? Also, a brick. We'll be using this brick for 1 clicker, and we'll pick up another brick for another clicker. That will be paired with our melee weapon. Again, really easy way to take out a clicker. Lastly, we have bombs, 2 of them. These will be dedicated to the shamblers at the very end, okay? And our pipe, we'll be able to use that as a little bit of backup in case a runner gets a little bit close. We'll definitely be using it on a couple of runners at the beginning, some clickers with the brick melee combo, as well as a shambler at the very end, okay? It'll be very important to, well, try not to use up your pipe, except in the areas that I kind of show you. Obviously, like, if you need to survive, do whatever you can, right? But you ideally want to kind of keep your pipe all the way through to the end to make sure you can use it on a shambler. And lastly, we do have a gun that we'll not be using. I'll be switching to this gun at some point, purely as safety. there's no part of the strat where we necessarily need this, but I like to pull it out in case maybe something goes wrong. If I miss a couple of shots, whatever, I can pull this out and start using it without worry. Okay. So, again, you'll want to familiarize yourself with the map as much as possible. Make sure your resources are topped off. And also, this is exactly why we wanted the bigger holster, because we can switch between our shotgun and semi-auto to handle clickers and runners very, very effectively. Okay. So like I said, we're going to have our pistol out because this is what we'll be using all the way through. And you're just going to have to kind of watch my sequence, and I'll be calling things out as they happen. Now, before we grab this door, make sure you're not selecting a brick. Okay. Select a gun, and we want to use our pipe like right away. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this door. And what we'll be doing is effectively spawn killing a couple of runners and a clicker at the very start. This will be using up our pipe. Now, when they drop down, they're going to stumble a little bit and we can't swing at them. We have to wait until they kind of stand up a little bit. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is go up next to this ambulance. Wait in this doorway, and when this runner kind of stands up a little bit, we want to take them out, and then there will be another runner that we take out. That's 4 hits on our pipe, okay? Which means now we need to upgrade. So once that second runner is gone, we upgrade our pipe. Now see this clicker, they're dropping down. That's the reason we want to wait right there so they don't hop down on top of us. So hit them with a brick, just like so, okay? Now pull out the semi-auto because now we have some runners, okay? And we just want to hit them center mass like that. When they squeeze through, notice that they'll kind of stumble forward and hold still. When they're holding still, that's a good chance to get an easy shot, okay? You don't want to like shoot them as they're stumbling. Like wait until they're just like holding still for a second. Because we want to make sure we don't burn too much of our ammo. So here we go. Watch them stumble in, stumble, and I need the shotgun real quick. Okay, sometimes that can happen where they show up like immediately one after the other. But anyway, that's the end of the first phase with that last clicker, that third clicker. So I'm going to run through, grab the brick. And just like before, the very first clicker that we want to take out is with our brick, just because it's a lot easier. Save that shotgun ammo. And this is now a good opportunity to heal, reload, whatever. But here we go. This is the start of the second phase, and we're going to get our brick. Really easy kill. Now pull out the pistol, because we're going to have a runner drop in from up top right here. And again, they're going to drop down. Wait for them to kind of stand up just a little bit so you make sure you're getting your center mass shots. Just take your time. I could shoot faster if I wanted to, but there's no need. And now I just switched out to the hunting pistol just in case something goes wrong. Okay, we have a clicker, which means shotgun. And you want the clicker to kind of get a little bit close. If you try to shoot them from too far away, you're likely to not do enough damage. So again, same idea, center mass shots. Here's our last clicker. Once we get this clicker, we want to smash this window because we need an exit, because now the shamblers are showing up. Pull out a bomb, hit them with the lock on. Once the bomb hits, that won't kill them. We need to run up, hit them with our melee. We're going to hop through this window, grab your other bomb. There'll be this runner here that we kind of need to dodge. But you see that shambler over there? Sometimes that shambler's in a different spot. And notice I'm kind of staying over here. I'm kind of lingering a bit too long here just to show you. But we have to wait for Lev basically to open up that window for us. Okay. So going around like that loop prevents like if you just try to wait by the ambulance, runner's going to show up, start slapping. That other shambler could show up and acid cloud you and whatnot. So going around like that final loop is you kind of have to juggle. That runner, feel free to use another shotgun shot on that runner if it makes you nervous. But that's effectively how you want to use your materials. It's a lot of juggling of different things, but a little bit of practice and getting familiar with when you should do things it'll pay off.